Hi guys, my name is Charlotte O'Hara, and in this video I am going to be going over updating your website during the COVID-19 global pandemic, which honestly is something I never thought I would be creating a video on, but here we are. I know this information is going to be super valuable and important to you, so I'm really happy that I can deliver it for you. If we haven't met already, my name is Charlotte O'Hara and my website is charlotteohara.ca, so you can check that out if you haven't already. And I am a Squarespace designer and Squarespace SEO expert and online educator, and I am creating this video to help you out because I know that right now there's so much uncertainty. No one really knows what the heck is going on, and when it comes to your website, you're like, how do I even address all of this on my website and for my business and my brand? And so I'm here to help you out as best as I can, okay? So if you haven't already, take a look at the other videos that I have here on my YouTube channel, or if you are reading the blog post, take a look at the other resources I have on my website. There's so much information about websites, design and development, SEO, online marketing to help you out during these like crazy times, okay? So take a look. And you can also join me as well on Instagram Live every Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. I'm doing an Instagram Live answering questions about websites and SEO and online marketing, so feel free to join me there. And up above I can link to the playlist of all of those Instagram Live replays, and take a look at the other questions that have been asked and answered, and I hope it's really useful for you. I'm just doing my best to show up during these really unprecedented times, and I hope this information that I'm creating is valuable to you. Okay, so let's dive in now to the actual blog or video content, which is all about updating your website during the COVID-19 global pandemic. And before we get too far into it, I think it's important to first acknowledge that we're all in this together and no one really knows what's going on or how this is going to play out. So first of all, I want you to cut yourself some slack if you're like, oh my gosh, this has been going on for several weeks already and I haven't even updated my website. I'm so far behind, I'm dropping the ball, no, stop, okay? That's not helpful to you, that's not helpful to anyone else. It's better late than never, and if you're just getting around to updating your website now, that's completely fine, okay? And also too, if you find that maybe people that are visiting your website are a little crazier than normal, and your clients and customers and your ideal audience of blog readers or whatever, if you feel like everyone's gone off the deep end lately, maybe they have, to be honest, but cut them some slack, give them a little leeway here as well, the same way that you would want that reciprocated to you. And just, yeah, let's stop being so hard on ourselves and on each other because everyone's just doing their best right now. Okay, the second point that is important to consider before you actually start making these updates is to think about how you yourself are being affected right now. So when it comes to your website or your brand or your business, you're probably going to fall into one of three categories. And the first one is that unfortunately with the whole situation, your business is basically going under, okay? And if that's the case, straight up, I'm so sorry to hear that. That truly sucks, okay? The second point is where I think a lot of people are going to fall, and it's that your website or your brand or your business has been affected in some way by this pandemic. So maybe it's a change to how you deliver your services, or the way that people can purchase your products, or the events that you're running, or anything like that. And so if this is the case, you need to be agile and make sure that you're still able to keep your business running. And that requires you to do business in a very different way than you did before. But you're still keeping the lights on, the website's still up and running. It's just got to be changed a little bit. And then the third camp is people who are like, you know what, straight up, this is kind of business as normal. Not a whole lot has changed in the way that you are running your website or the way that you've done business. And if you find yourself in that position, dang, you are very lucky, okay? So that's an exciting thing if you find yourself there. But now let's actually look at the ways that we can update your website during this global pandemic, okay? So the very first thing that I suggest that you do is to create a brand new page on your website and call it something super simple like COVID-19 or pandemic info or whatever. And this makes sense even if you have a website that you would think a business or a brand or a website that you would think is maybe not directly affected. It's still good to have this because on this new page that you're creating, you can put all important information that people need to know about how you yourself are affected or dealing with the changes of the situation. So you can do it more like an announcement style, saying, hey, here's a message from our team, blah, 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 blah. You could also find it really useful to create like an FAQ section or like a question and answer, like addressing things like, oh, this is how we're dealing with the situation. Here's how we're changing up our business. Here's how we're delivering products or making, like our services or anything like that. So creating this brand new page is probably the very first thing that I suggest you do. The second point is that you want to add this brand new page that you've just created to the main navigation of your website. Okay, so the main navigation of your website, if it's the primary navigation, that's going to show up on every page of your website. So when you add this new page to the main navigation, you're making sure that it's really easy for people to find that information. And ultimately that's the goal, because you want your website to communicate this info with anyone who's visiting. Okay, and if you're using Squarespace, you can either just like create it directly in the primary navigation or like drag it and drop it up in the primary nav section. The third point is I want you to go to the homepage of your website and add in a section that links over to this brand new COVID-19 page. So remember that the homepage is arguably one of the pages, if not the page of your website that receives the most amount of website traffic. So if you're on the homepage and linking over to this brand new page, you know that people are going to be visiting the homepage, and then from there, they can easily access all this new COVID-19 info. Okay, the fourth point that I have is that I want you to review and update the footer section of your website. So if you haven't already, go through and take a look and see if anything needs to be changed. So maybe this is the hours of operation, delivery schedule, anything like that you have, like whether you're accepting phone orders or like any kind of basic info that you have in the footer section. It might also be useful to add a link in the footer section to this brand new page that has all of that COVID-19 info on it. So even if you just do something super simple like add a text link, that will be really helpful. Okay, point number 5 is to add or update the announcement bar on your website. So if you're using Squarespace, which I know many people who are watching this video are Squarespace users, then you probably know that the announcement bar is a built-in marketing feature in Squarespace's platform. And it's one that honestly, like, I love it so much. The announcement bar is great. And now would be a really good time to use that announcement bar. If you have not been using it already, it's time to enable that feature. And once you have the announcement bar enabled, you can then link the announcement bar and the text in there over to this brand new COVID-19 page, okay? Because the announcement bar is sitting at the very top of every page on the website. So again, it's just adding that visibility and making sure people can find this content. Along those lines, that brings us to the next point, number 6, which is you want to enable or update the promotional pop-up on your website. So again, promotional pop-ups are another built-in marketing feature in Squarespace if you're using that platform. And they are, however, a premium feature. So you can only use promotional pop-ups if you're on the commerce or the business plan, but I definitely recommend being on one of those plans. And if you haven't already, enable the pop-up and link the promotional pop-up over to that like COVID-19 page. And if you already do have a promotional pop-up, then I suggest like editing it at least for the time being so that you're now sending people to that new page. All right, next point number 7 is I want you to update the services page of your website. So again, here, you're reviewing the content of your existing services page, if you have one, to account for any changes that are happening. So maybe, for example, you are still able to deliver your services, but you have to do them online, like via a Zoom meeting or something. Like maybe you just add that info there. Or on the flip side, if you're like, you know what, like unfortunately our services delivery is put on hold for, indefinitely, put that info there. Okay, point number 8 is go to the contact page on your website and review everything that's there and make any updates required. So updates required here might be changes to your hours of operation or the openings of your storefronts if you have a brick and mortar store. You might also want to add a link to that brand new COVID-19 page on your contact page because you know that people might be looking for that sort of info. Just basically review the content and make it super easy for people to get what they're looking for. Next up, update the events page if you have one on your website. So I know that events have definitely been affected by this COVID-19 pandemic. So In some cases, people are like, you know what, events have just been canceled entirely. Sometimes they've been postponed, maybe till the fall if that's happening, or till next year or something. Or many times people are like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead with the event, but we're gonna do it online. So you wanna make sure that the content that's on your events page is as up to date as you can make it. Okay, point number 10 that I have for you is that if you have not already, now is the time to start an email list, okay? If there's just one thing you do from here, like maybe I should have put this at like number 2 or something, but start an email list and, you know, get that up and running on your website, because an email list or a newsletter is one of the best ways to communicate directly with your audience. So whether that's people who visit your website, your clients, or your customers, these are the people that are already interested in you, and you want to make sure that you're communicating as well as you can with them. So honestly, I don't really care how you start an email list. I just want you to do it. So if you want the simplest option, if you have a Squarespace website, just use their email marketing campaign. You could also use another service like MailChimp or MailerLite or ConvertKit or, you know, Infusionsoft if you want to go crazy. But yeah, just get an email list up and running, start that newsletter, like add it to your website and get people on your list so that you can communicate with them, okay? Once you have that email list, you know, up and running, or if you already have an email list, now is the time to send out an email blast to your entire newsletter that sends them some basic info about like what the heck is going on with COVID, how your business is, etc. So I suggest that you write a little blurb in the email itself, but then link to that brand new COVID-19 page that you have added to your website, okay? I did that too, actually. In fact, like I wrote, you know, this blog post that you're reading right now. I emailed this out to everyone on my email list, and that was really helpful to a ton of people. So even if you just do something like that, you'll find it useful. Okay, point number 12 is that you want to post about this brand new COVID-19 page on your social media channels. So whether it's your Facebook page, your Instagram, whether it's a post on your Instagram, a couple stories, you can even like link directly to it there, or say people like go to mywebsite.com/COVID for more info. The good thing about doing it this way is that, you know, you just have a fairly general post on social media, and then people can go and view all the info on your website, which means that if any updates are required in the future, you only have to update your website. You don't have to go back and update a lot of like social media posts. Point number 13 is that you might, you know, one of the changes you want to do right now is maybe you create an online shop to sell your products. Okay, so this is something that a lot of people that have like a store, like a physical store or something, have been doing because they want to stay in business, and they're like, well, we can still accept orders, but now you need to make an online shop so that people can do that shopping. So obviously this is, you know, a bit more of an involved undertaking, but it's something that if you have the time and you think that this will be worth it from a business point of view, I definitely recommend it. So you're gonna have to find a bit more info on like how to actually do it, but it could be something that's really worthwhile. Switch over here. Okay, point number 14 is that if you have an online shop or e-commerce already set up, the next point is to review your inventory as well as all of the product descriptions, because maybe you now need to make a change, like, okay, shipment is going to take longer than normal, or the delivery schedule has changed, or availability of products is not the same as it was before or something. So, or on the flip side, you're like, you know what, business as usual, put a note about that so people know that what they can expect. Point number 15 is that you want to create or review your Google My Business profile. So I have another really good video all about Google My Business, so I'll link to that one up above. But Google My Business is one of the best things you can do from an SEO point of view. And creating a Google My Business profile is so worthwhile if you haven't already. And if you do already have one, a Google My Business profile, make sure that you've reviewed your profile so that all of the info is still relevant, especially things like your hours or your operation, or, you know, your like whether you're open or closed right now during the pandemic. You want that info to be up to date and current on your profile. Okay, point number 16 is review your giving back page. Okay, so the giving back page could be a couple different things. Like a lot of businesses will have like, let's say a one-to-one model, right? Like, you know, Tom's Shoes, it's like you buy a pair of shoes and then they give one to a child in need or something. Maybe your business has something like that and it's been affected by the pandemic. Or probably more likely is that a lot of businesses or brands or something, they'll say that like a portion, maybe like 5% of all proceeds go to a certain charity, okay? But maybe the charity has changed during the global pandemic. Like, for example, maybe a lot of things are like, oh, normally we send 5% of profits to an educational charity or like a wildlife charity or, you know, an entrepreneurship charity or something like that. But now during the COVID-19 situation, you're doing something a bit more like supporting a local food bank or, you know, like frontline workers or something like that. So if you have any sort of like giving back social program in place with your website or your business, make sure that the info there is up to date. Okay, point number 17 is continue, this is my recommendation, continue as planned with any regular scheduled blog posts. So now is not the time to hit pause on your online marketing, and just because there's a pandemic going on, don't think, oh, I can't publish a blog post. Nope. If you have blog posts sitting in your draft file, keep them going, keep scheduling them and publishing them as normal. Not only is it good because, you know, you're continuing with your online marketing and you're giving your website visitors something to read when they land on your website, but it's also important from an SEO point of view because you're indicating to search engines, look, this website is still current, it's being updated, new content is going, like keep crawling the site, keep coming back, keep indicating that you're creating and producing good quality content. And point number 18, which is kind of along the lines, is that there is literally no better time than now to create valuable new content on your website. So whether this is brand new blog posts, if you've never blogged before, now is the time to blog. If you want to create resources that will be really helpful to your website visitors or your clients or your customers, like you can do that. So it could be creating something like, you know, some sort of like freebie or a checklist or templates or graphic design or downloads or something. It could be a quiz, it could be like an email course, it could be literally anything that you want, but now is the time to get creative and make content for your website. And then the next point is to invest in paid advertising. So this is something that I don't always advocate for because obviously I'm a Squarespace SEO expert, and paid advertising is, you know, kind of opposite from SEO. But my suggestion here is that paid advertising might be really helpful for your website and your business in the short term. So let's say you are a restaurant and you want to make sure that your clients and customers know that you're still open for delivery right now, then maybe now it's a good time to like get on Instagram and set up some Instagram ads so that you can target those people, okay? Because SEO is more of like a long-term sustainable marketing strategy, but with the global pandemic and the way that things are changing literally day to day, you might find it more beneficial to just like blast some paid ads out so that you get the impact and the results like right now, okay? So that brings us to the end of this list. I hope it's been really helpful for you. Remember that you can go to my website, charlotteohara.ca, and get lots more resources all about websites, SEO, and online marketing. I also have services available, so you can book me to create or work with you on your custom website. And I also have Squarespace SEO audit and consulting sessions, which are, you know, wonderful, really, really good, and can be super helpful right now. So if you're interested in any of those two services, please reach out to me. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to work with you right now. I'm also going live every day on Instagram at 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday to Friday. So you can take a look and join me on Instagram for those lives. I'm answering all your questions there, or you can watch the replays here on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I guess that's it. So if you like this video, if you found it helpful, you can like the video on YouTube. You can leave me a comment down below, and it would be really great if you hit subscribe too, because then that way you stay notified and up to date for all the other content that I'm creating right now, all about websites, SEO, online marketing, that kind of stuff. So hit subscribe. You don't want to miss out on any of this. Visit my website for lots more resources and content materials that you'll find really helpful right now. and tune into the daily lives. And honestly, that's it. Good luck. Go work on the website. I hope these changes are really helpful. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. I'm here to support you, and I wish you the best. All the happiness and the good health for you and your loved ones. Okay, take care. Bye now. See you.